I oftentimes ask myself, how can I be happy? I've been pondering that question for years and just cannot find an answer. I have small moments of happiness, such as when I'm watching my Utah Jazz play, but for the most part, I cannot find happiness. I try to mask it by keeping my mind on other things like creating YouTube vids, listening to music, or like watching Netflix or something. But I just do not know how to be happy. I mainly stay at home as I'm afraid to death of the public. Luckily, I'm not as bad as some people though. Some people can't even leave their homes. I can at least do things like in public, as long as I know I won't have to talk to anybody. Like when I go to the movies, which I do enjoy immensely, I will sit in the front row, clear of people of course, and get there really early. I love getting there early with my popcorn and everything. That's my routine. But I sit there and I could listen to all of the conversations that go on behind me from like everybody else in the theater. And like everybody, there's like friends and families and everybody just all like having a great time, all having conversations and laughing, and I listen to the conversations and sometimes I wish I had what they had. I wonder why I can't be normal like all of them. And like I'll go to concerts every now and then and I'll sit there and watch everybody having a great time together with their friends and family. Everybody singing along to the music and dancing and having a grand time. And I just sit there and I wish I was normal. And then when I go to the high school basketball games, I watch everybody having a great time throughout the gym. Everybody getting into the games and again talking to the people beside them, and everybody seems to know each other. And then there's me, sitting by myself and watching the game. And then over the years, I've tried to set goals in which I think would make me happy. But then once I reach the goal, they don't end up being nearly how I imagined them, like in my mind. So then I get even more depressed because I work so hard to get to that goal, thinking it's gonna be it, it's gonna make me happy, and then boom, it's a big disappointment. I mean, it's my fault. I guess I live like in a dream world, and I have these very unrealistic dreams. So there's no goal I can come up with that would be able to live up to my expectations. I did have one goal though that did live up to my expectation, and that was Disney World. I had dreamed of going my entire life. Because we would go, like, my dad would take us to Kings Island and Cedar Point, which is in Ohio, the two amusement parks. And, you know, they're fun. I'm a really big wimp, though. I have a bad stomach. So, I'm not really good on the roller coasters and stuff. But Disney World has so many attractions that the whole family can do. And I dreamed so much. I'm like, Dad, we are going to Disney World one of these days. And, you know, we didn't have much money, so I knew it would cost a fortune to go. But I knew we would get there one day. That was my dream. And I'd plan out our whole trip. Even though we weren't, like, planning on going, I would have it all planned to the minute of every day. Because I knew one day when we get there, I got to be prepared. So that was a fun goal to have. And, you know, sadly I never did. It never happened where I got to go with my dad. But a few years ago, I did get to go with my mom. So my dream finally became a reality, and it actually did the impossible. It exceeded my expectations. But it was a week-long trip, and then afterwards, it's like, oh my God, my lifelong dream is over. And once we got back, I was so depressed because I'm like, now what? Well, my whole life I planned that trip. Not to mention it was a bit melancholy, you know, knowing that my dad couldn't be there for my dream. So, you know, it was back to being not there. The happiness was gone again. But I would like to save up some money again, and that could be like a dream of mine again. But I'd have nobody to go with, so it'd be pointless to go alone. Playing basketball has been a passion of mine, And in the past, it did provide happiness for me, but over the years, just shooting around by myself has lost its luster. And the competitive games I used to play with my b-ball friends have all but come to an end, due to them all having lives of their own now. And again, in my mind, I dream of being asked to play like pickup games at the park or at the YMCA or something. But in reality, I'm such a chicken, and I just can't do it. I doubt my abilities, even though I know I can play with those guys. But I just get too nervous. So if I see people playing at the park, if I'm heading up there and I see people shooting around or whatever, or playing games, I will just go right past the park. I won't even stop to play. I turn around and come back home. That's pathetic. And then, of course, I beat myself up all night over it, and I'm so mad at myself. Heck, if I just see one person shooting around, I chicken out. And then if I see guys playing at the Y, in like there's 2 gyms at the Y I go to. So if I see a bunch of guys in the first gym, I'll go to the second gym where usually nobody is. And then even when I am shooting by myself and there's like guys playing, like on the other baskets or something, well, for one, they never asked me to play. But even if they did, I would just freeze up and I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to shoot or anything. I'd be so nervous. So how can I be happy? One thing I know would work is helping others. For 2 years now, I have participated in this event called the Miracle Meal. It takes place like right before Christmas. It's an event feeding the less fortunate in the neighborhood. And I was forced to do it one year, even though I was super nervous with all the people. And I was in charge of serving the fried chicken. And it was the greatest feeling I've ever had in my life. Seeing all of the happy faces from everybody there. There were 500 people from the community that just, they're down on their luck. And some of them haven't had a good meal in a long time. And just, it was such an amazing feeling. There was so much food too. It was amazing. It was like this huge buffet. And so much selections. I mean, their plates were so full they couldn't even get everything on the plates. And they were so thankful, and just seeing the smiles, especially with the kids. Some of the kids, it's like, when was the last time they had a good dinner? And to provide them that, it just was amazing. So after that night, like when I got home and I did it 2 years in a row now, and when I got home, I was so happy. I didn't want the moment to end. But then again, the next day comes, it's back to my life, and I have to wait another year to do that. I want to help people. I'm at the point where there's no hope for me at this point. I want to help others. And that, I know, is what would make me happy. But I don't know how to help others. And I know they have places that hand out like food, like once a week, like I think churches or, I don't know, soup kitchens or something. But they usually have plenty of volunteers already. They're not going to need me. Plus, I don't have the guts to take the initiative to go and ask. I just got lucky with that event because I knew somebody that actually ran the whole thing. And she actually tried to get me to do it for a couple years before, and I always said, no, sorry, because I was too nervous. But I'm so glad I did it. But now, I don't know what to do. I feel worthless. I know it's cliche to say, what's our purpose for being here? But I honestly do not know my purpose. I need to help others, but somehow do it without having to talk, or best case scenario, without being seen by anybody. Basically, I guess my dream job and way to be happy, as silly as this sounds, is for me to be an angel. Because think about it, that's what angels are, right? If there is even such thing as an angel. I don't know. I'm one of those people that I'm not very religious because, quite frankly, I have no idea what's real, what's not real. Every theory out there sounds so far-fetched to me. Ugh. But I've always liked the idea of angels. I guess I'd give anything to just disappear and become an angel. And that way I can help people without being noticed. But, again, there's my unrealistic dreams. I daydream a lot. So what do? I just don't know how to be happy. I just don't know what the point of everything is. I don't know what the point of this vid is. Does anybody else feel this way? Or is it just me? I always wonder that, because, since I don't really have anyone to talk to about weird things, I guess. I don't know if it's, I don't know if anybody thinks this way. Is it? Because I'm so not normal. But maybe others do feel this. I don't know. And then for those of you that don't feel this way, I don't know, maybe you have some suggestions of how are you happy? What makes you happy in your life? And I know a lot of people, well, it seems like everybody would say family and friends. But I don't really have much of either. So I don't know. Any other suggestions? Because I am stuck. Well, sorry for rambling like I always do. Thanks everybody for listening. And I gotta keep my mind occupied, I guess. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later. Bye.